just stopped posting on Dagye Studio. I think I even stopped posting on my personal.
I did not know that.
Yeah, people don't even know that. I just stopped for ages.
How long?
I think almost a year.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
What did you
maybe
do?
like 8 months. I was just like, I'm not sure if it was directly like, but I think that's really when I started to realize I need to fix myself.
As in the person. So it became less about Dagye Studios and about your name.
Yeah. It started becoming more like I started really just like reflecting on myself and started looking at the parts of myself that I feel like most people don't want to look at. That's what it was. I feel like it got to a point where like no one truly cares about me. Nobody's trying to help me. And I've almost purposely put myself in some like unfavorable or uncomfortable situations. Like for example, I fucked off uni. Obviously, I didn't even say I went to uni. I went to uni for a year, sports science up in Leeds that I had no interest in. I literally did it just to like make my parents. I was never going. I spent all my time on the internet looking at clothes. And in fact, they had a store there called The Allotment. That was like a high-end store, and I learned a lot there. So shout out to The Allotment and Soul, the owner. And yeah, I went to my first fashion week with them, and like I got introduced into buying. I actually made that store do a shop or do an order with Rude.
Yeah.
I put him onto Rude.
You put him onto Rude all them years ago?
Yeah, I put him onto Rude, and I think that would have been 2014. yeah. And he did an order with Rude for a store in Leeds.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, that's how deep it goes. But
no one even in London was wearing Rude.
No. I was already up on Rude. I was already following him. Like he was doing big things. Like I said, I was just so tapped in. Like the level of tapped in, nobody else was that tapped in. But yeah, it got to a point where just like, yeah, like I just had a lot of like a few like unfavorable like situations, like parts to my life that I knew were self-inflicted. And yeah, I think from that point I was just a little bit just like tired.
You was like worn out?
Yeah, I was just tired and I was just worn out and I was just like, how I'm coming, I'm just not happy with it. So I need to make changes. I need to make changes, man. I need to go back to the drawing board. So that's really what that was. So when I closed down, I was like, yeah, like I need to go figure this shit out. And I feel like in that little gap there is when really all of this like self-discovery started, like the self-discovery and starting to like peel back like the scabs and the wounds and see what's going on, like what's going on. I feel like that's when that part of my life started, because it was just like inadequacy. It was just like a feeling of inadequacy, and I had proof. I had proof for it.
And you was like, you never want to feel like that again.
Never want to feel like that again, type of thing. So
it's so interesting because, again, when I was taking my notes, with everything you've achieved today, and what you're doing now, which is obviously at an incredible level, I was going to ask, was that always the plan? But I feel like in terms of what you're describing now, is that year where the Dagye we see today in terms of ADWOA and Jeanius by Atelier, not necessarily the names or the brands itself, but is that where that type of higher level thinking started to come into play?
Yeah, because what it was is that in that time, I started to look at everything that got me here so far, and I started to analyze the mistakes that I'd made and things that were within the game, like nuance and stuff in the game that I was picking up on that I wasn't really realizing before. And I just like kind of started like realizing like, you know, the mistakes I'd made along the way, and just like trying to analyze of how I can now counteract that now that I've gained some knowledge and now that I'm kind of off the treadmill. I've jumped off the treadmill because I'm just not running the brand right now. And it's like, yo, like you need, like, what am I gonna do? Like, what am I gonna do? I need to come back, to go back to the drawing board and come back way different. And yeah, like I said, I was, even throughout them years, like coming up and all of that, I just knew that I just knew that I was quite tortured. I knew I had quite a few things wrong with me, basically. That's really what it was. And I knew that stuff was transferring into some of these areas. And I feel like sometimes in certain situations, I knew that it could have gone better. And I was able to just pick out like where something could have gone better. And it was just my own fault. And it was just my fault, basically. You know what I mean?
You took that accountability.
Yeah. Yeah. And I just knew I needed to be better. I just needed to be better. I needed to be better because, like I said, when I was younger, like, I was very emotional. I was very driven by my impulses, and I'd love to like put the blame on other people, put the blame on other situations, and things like that. And yeah, I just knew, I knew there needed to be change. There needed to be a change.
It's so interesting again because when I look at your TikToks and the things you talk about now, I can tell that it's born out of that experience.
Yeah.
Because you're giving people the harsh realities of what people can experience in life.
Yeah.
Like I was watching one of your videos and I remember someone commented like, "This is a sad way to live" or something.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, innit? But I'm like, you're just telling people the reality
of life.
And you're particularly speaking to people who want to reach the upper echelons.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the only way to get there is if you go through this type of self-discovery journey and just take things for what they are and counteract them like you said you did.
Yeah. Because the world don't care. The world doesn't care what your reasons for things are. Like, the world doesn't care about your reasons for your shortcomings. Everybody has reasons. The world only cares about results.
Facts.
You understand what I mean? So if you want to do things, and maybe you've started off in a less favorable position to other people in that field, like, for example, fashion, high-end fashion specifically, is a thing.
Rich man's game.
Yeah, it's a rich man's game. It's not made for us, you know?
Not at all.
It's not made for us at all. Like, really, if I'm really honest about it, I would say that fashion really is like, it's like a little, for rich people, for wealthy people, it's like a little creative endeavor to kind of show off in. Fashion really, high-end fashion really is like a wealthy, rich, say if I was like a wealthy like man that was like rich of real estate or something like that, fashion really is something that I'd have my daughter doing so that she's doing something.
So that other people can see, so it's for optics.
You know what I mean? It's not like, so like when you're coming into it like from a lower, like it's like you're basically, it's one, that's why I said in one of my videos that I'm on a mission almost impossible. It's not made, it was never made for us. So when it's fine to want to do things that are like, you know, you wasn't really made for you or that, but just understand that you're gonna have to work harder than majority of other people who was made for. And if you're not ready to do that, get out of the kitchen. Like don't come into this game. Because as I said, they don't care. They're not gonna put you in a microphone and be like, oh, I came from da-da-da-da-da, so because of that, you should judge me a little bit less harshly compared to no.
Not gonna happen.
That's not real world. That's not real life. That's not how life works. You know what I mean? And
in business, people's empathy doesn't extend.
It doesn't extend that far. And like I said, through my life, I had different levels at which I was learning these harsh realities. Like I said, in the football field, I'm seeing this. I'm seeing how you get this, how you get treated if you got this, how you get treated if you got that. This is the harsh reality. And
then in the fashion world, you're seeing it as well.
You don't understand what I'm saying? You don't understand what I'm saying? I'm understanding that. Yeah, I'm just understanding like the difference in these things.
Do you know what, Dags? Yeah, with what you just said, that's why I kind of see you as the glitch.
Yeah.
Have you heard of a film called Wreck-It Ralph?
No.
I haven't even seen it before, but in the game, the film is basically about a game or something, and the glitch is basically like the answer that's not meant to be the answer in a weird way. So like the reason why I was so excited for this conversation, I'll be honest with you, Dags, yeah, even when you first said to me you wanted to have a conversation or ever sit on the podcast, I didn't feel like I was ready.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I want to be at, not the peak, but I want to be at a level where I can get the best conversation out of you because I view you as different to everybody else in the game, bro.
Yeah.
Because, and I think one of the things that kind of showed me how different you are was I was watching your Paris vlog.
Yeah.
And it was the one when you was in like the underground tunnel thing.
Yeah, the cave.
Broski. And I'm seeing different brand owners coming. I'm seeing different influential people coming, all these different stylish people coming. And I'm like, blood, they're all coming for you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Which speaks to the level that you're at now in a game where, like you said, it wasn't built for you.
Nah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Like, people are coming, like, the buyers from stores.
Broski.
I'm going, like, bro, we're from 2 different worlds. I can see it, like, from the way you talk, from your body language, like, this is all fun and games to you.
Mm-hmm.
You've never had to worry. You know what I mean? They're not even realizing where I come from.
They don't, bro.
They don't understand where I come from.
And that's why this conversation, like I said to you before, is so important, bro.
Yeah, it's
because
super
people are
important.
just seeing the end result. They're seeing somebody with 2 successful, thriving brands that are like no other brands in the world, creating pieces, selling for $2,000 and all of these things. And they're not understanding that you're not from the same world as these, bro. You didn't have no head start.
No.
You started 10 fucking meters back,
like,
bro. 100 meters back.
Like, way behind. Like, and like I said, like, I feel like life really primed me for that, because I feel like almost every scenario that I can describe to you, that's how it felt. I came to the UK, I'm not speaking English. I'm coming from an inferior position. I got to figure that out. You get into the field. Same thing growing up, you know, you have the kids that, like, whose parents have got it. We're going to Power League. Their parents are dropping them and then picking them up. Well, us, when we would have to go in Power League, I remember me and Wiz, we'd have to take 2 buses. It's about an hour journey. You got to kick ball, you're tired, and after you got to do the same thing back.
Go to school the next day, innit?
At every position, like, I'm starting behind compared to the same people that are in the same field as me. And but every day after school, I remember, like, Harry and Dagye would get picked up by their granddad. They lived in some rural village somewhere. They didn't even know what the bus was for real. You know what I'm saying? As us, that's the norm.
Facts. And that's obviously no slight to these people.
No,
It's just a different world.
Yeah,
Dagye,
that's what it is.
When did you start to see that inferiority as a strength? Because I feel like, I don't know whether you've acknowledged it, but I feel like you've kind of taken that almost chip on your shoulder and it's pushed you to become the man you are today.
Yeah,
was there a moment or experience within fashion where you was like, you know what, fuck that, I'm proving you wrong?
Probably what we were just talking about there, where the buyers are coming along and they're making way more money off of it than me. I'm seeing people, to me, saying, oh, so-and-so is buying you, like, whatever like that. But then a few weeks later, whatever like that, still fucking with the more popular party that has been buying me.
They could even be wearing
I'm
their
just
shit.
I'm seeing how fickle and fake it all is. And I'm just starting to realize that nobody cares. That's what it is, more and more so. Like, nobody cares. Nobody cares about my pain. Nobody cares about my struggles. Like, nobody cares, you know? Yeah, I feel like that, like I said, that dark time when, like I said, I kind of shut everything down, and I was just like, nah, you know what? Like, I'm going to become powerful. I'm going to become fucking powerful, and I'm going to do this shit for real. This time around, when I come back next time, it's not going to be no fucking games. Every single bit that I went through, every single bit of pain that I went through, I'm going to inject it, and I'm going to come back a fucking monster. Whatever it is I don't have right now, I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to figure out how it is, where there's a will, there's a way. Like, I'm going to figure it out, you know? If somebody else has been able to do it, I'm going to figure it out. I might just not know it yet, but I'm going to figure it out. But I just had to, like, yeah, because a lot of it as well came from the fact that even throughout those initial years, a lot of the time, like, I didn't show up for myself the same way that I do now. That's why I'm so big on it now. You know, I feel like definitely I was far more insecure and stuff like that growing up, and at the time you're not aware of it. You don't know how insecure whilst you're insecure.
100%.
But I was just doing a lot of dumb shit even along the way. Like I said, a lot of the stuff, like I said, of me not being where I needed to be was self-inflicted. You know what I mean? For a long time, even when I say like certain, like my boys that came over like that, for a long time, I was kind of 1 foot in, 1 foot out with them. And shit didn't get serious until I even basically cut all them lot off and really decided to go on my hero's journey. So I talk about the hero's journey, where I say it's like every man has to go to that mountain. Everyone has to go to the top of the mountain, where you basically cut off everyone, or everyone cuts you off, and you have to go by yourself, and you have to go face that stuff that you've been avoiding. You have to go face your fears. You have to go look at yourself truly in the mirror, and you know, and do what it is that you need to do. Like, I'd be doing some cool shit, but I'm still fucking around in car parks with the boys, smoking weed in cars, shit like that.
It don't make sense.
It's not matching up. You know what I mean?
Do you know what, Dags? What you're saying speaks to what one of my best friends said to me a year ago or something. She said something like, if the people or the things you're doing don't match with what you want from life, then you shouldn't be doing them.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Point blank, period.
that's what it was. So obviously I've always been like a outlaw, rebel kind of guy, and I'm like a black sheep in my family, so I'm kind of like the one that my parents kind of always took everything out on. So naturally I didn't really want to be around my parents much and all of that. And I feel like what that happens, what that causes for a lot of kids, what you also see now in the youth now, is that that's what makes you go outside and look for that same connection with that with your friends on the outside.
You try to replace
it. Yeah, and a lot of the time that just leads to bad shit. You know what I mean? Bad influences, bad shit, because you just haven't got the discernment to know what's good and what's bad, and people want. And then you remember when you come out with that energy, people can sense that like a shark with blood. So when they can sense that you got an aspiration for connection, that's that opening for them to come and take advantage. You know what I mean? So, I let myself down too in those years. So even whilst things weren't really a big part of itself was also letting myself down. Like for example, not keeping my word. There's some of the stuff that I be talking about now. Like the reason why I can talk about it the way I do is because it's the type of shit I used to do. You know, not keeping my word to myself. And things of that nature. But I feel like the biggest thing for me, like what was really torturing my soul, and I remember I was really saying this it was knowing what you should be doing and not doing it. That's what I feel like destroyed my soul. Like it actually drew me down into a depression. You know what I mean? Whereas like I knew what I should be doing, but I'm just not doing it.
And you couldn't figure out why you weren't doing it.
Yeah, like I should be completely locking in, but we're in this house doing whatever. Like why am I doing that? You know what I mean? And then you just do that over that time and time again until like you're just completely twisted on the inside. And that's how most people I feel like are walking around. They got no more confidence in their word to themselves because they tell themselves they're going to do something. So many times they've not done it. So many times they should have been there for themselves, shut up for themselves, but they're not. But when it's their whatless friend or whatever like that, you're there every single time. Every time he calls you.
That's like the TikTok you put up the other day about the guy's best friend.
Yeah.
Footballers, you use the footballer best friend example.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Showing up for other people, but not showing up for yourself.
Yeah. And I had many experiences along that way that were just like that. Like I tell you one thing that probably most people don't know, but Dele Alli had a brand called Leo Fortis. I designed it. I came up with the name. I designed it. I did everything. And somewhere along that way, things just went wrong against my favor. You know, nothing against him, nothing to do with him. It was some, corporate people involved that do what they do. Again, this is real life.
The powers that be.
You know what I mean? This guy is so creative, whatever like that, but there's nobody guarding him. There's nobody protecting him. He doesn't know the protocol, how to do whatever like that. And in the end, they took everything from me and they dashed me to the side. And that was another moment where you're just like, fucking hell. But if you're brave enough and you really look at it for what it is, you come to realize that it was my own fault because I left myself open to it. I wanted something like so bad. I wanted to do something, or I was desperate to do something, and people could smell that desperation, and they burn you. People burn you because you let them. You know what I mean? So, yeah, like it's funny because it's funny because really creatively and taste-wise, I haven't changed that much.
I knew he was going to say that.
I'm very much into most of the same things that I've been into.
It seems like that.
I've been wearing Rick Owens since 2013, 2014 in Milton Keynes.
You've been shopping
no one ever heard it.
vintage. Now I see you going to your vintage when you're vlogging on YouTube and that's the same stuff.
It's the same stuff, just at different levels. But really what the change is me that's changed. So really this whole journey has been the discovery of me. So all the growth really is just a reflection of me. When you grow, your life grows. You know? And
your life can consist of your businesses, your brands.
I mean, my life is my business. My life is completely I've never had a job. Other than when I was in sick, when I had some part-time, but I've never had a job. I've never really been paid by anybody else. I've been trying to figure it out since. I put myself into such a death ground position where I had no choice but to figure out, but to make it.
There was no plan
I
B.
did a lot of shit, basically. I almost did probably a lot of stuff that you consider self-sabotage, simply so that I have no choice. I have to get it done, you know? That was kind of the attitude for me, but yeah, it was a lot of just unfavorable situations and things that happened to me that in most cases I didn't get a sorry for. I didn't get no type of nothing for.
No empathy.
No, nothing. You know, I had to just pick myself back up. And that was it. I had to just pick myself back up, you know? So when you go through that time and time and time again, where you know what you should be doing, but you don't do it, you're going to other people that on paper should be your piece of a puzzle to move to the next stage or whatever like that. And then when they come, weird situations happen where you've not done nothing wrong, but someone just slights you or does you wrong or cuts you out or anything like that. So that after a while, mixed with my results and my progress not matching my influence, just took me to a place where I was just sick of myself. I was just sick of myself, and I just took responsibility for it. And then I realized that, I need to burn myself down to the ground and rebuild myself.
Rebirth.
That was it. That's what it was. And then for that year, that 9 to 12 months, whatever it was, I just became just a freak of just like learning. And now I'm learning things that have nothing to do with fashion. I'm now starting to discover life. That's what it is now. And just really, in the big part of it, like, it was just getting my business acumen in order. And I don't know what made me do this, but an ad came up on YouTube for a guy called Ty Lopez, who's like one of them like guru people that has different businesses and teaches people how to do whatever. Quite early though, but he had a drop shipping course, and something in me made me buy the course, and it was like £700 or £800 or dollars or something like that. And it was like video lectures where he was teaching you, but it had a lot of just broad information that's just to do with making money in general and just things of that nature. And I remember sitting down like every day and like go and doing it. And I never actually, because I guess maybe I wanted to do a dropshipping business to raise money to do what I wanted to do, whatever like that. But I never ended up actually making a dropshipping business. But it taught me invaluable lessons just about business. And it just set me with a framework to now go and discover the rest. And then from then onwards, it's just like, I'm starting to program now. Like, it was my version of what I do now, but I was like, I'm going for runs. Then there's a field behind my mum's crib. I'm going for runs now. I'm starting to read books. So I'm starting to put myself through just a program of just reprogramming myself. I'll go for a run. I'll sit on a bench. I'll be smoking. I was reading. And bit by bit, like, my brain is just starting to make the links. And I remember I had a mad moment on there whilst reading one book, and it was just like my mind just went poof, and it's just like it was just like something changed. It was like a crazy moment. I'll never forget it. Like, I'll never forget the moment on the bench, and then like from then, I mean, yeah, I feel like that's truly when I woke up. I feel like that's when I woke up.
So what did the rebirthed Dagye, well, we see the rebirthed Dagye today, but at that point after that year, how did that manifest in your businesses? Like, what did it start to look like?
So I'm now realizing I'm starting to understand certain things just about, what makes this reality what it is, the invisible world, the mechanics behind things and stuff of that nature. So I'm growing in that sense, and the vision, along with that, the vision is just becoming more and more clear. I'm knowing that what I want to turn Dagye Studios into is like the next evolution is I want it to be like the brands that I came up on that influenced me.
Oh, proper fashion house.
Like a real fashion house. I'm also aware now that most of the people in the UK are not inclined for that, and that my current clientele, probably most of them, are not for that. So I'm realizing that there's a difference between want and need, between what I want to do and what I need to do.